So this where do we start? But hey, it's looking
It's getting
there. Holy smokes!
Yeah. So currently what I'm struggling with is so these windows here,
Yeah,
they need to be like one of these fold out windows.
fold out windows. Do you want to
I don't know.
represent that in 3D, or do you want to
I
show it diagrammatically?
either
Look, we tend to show it diagrammatically. You can in 3D view, you can go and model these in place and make them look open. It's just if the technique that we're going to use, I'll explain. I'll show you, we'll make it look good, but then in 3D view, we can always hide them and then we can make a model in place to make it look like it opens. It is a bit of a tricky one because sometimes, anyway, it is what it
I'm
is.
really shooting myself in the foot with my doors and
No,
windows.
no, these things, this is a common dilemma that we
Yeah.
face
So now
in
I
this
didn't know if
situation.
to just leave it as like a curtain wall.
No, so it is fine. It is a
Yeah.
curtain wall. So let me just go to a floor plan quickly, ground floor plan here. Okay, let's just have a look on ground floor plan. I'm going to make an elevation and look at that, and then we can make a decision from there how this works. I've taken it, it's these things that these flip-up windows. Okay, so let's just create a section. We can delete the section when we don't need it anymore. This is purely just to kind of help us look at and work on that little piece of window. Okay. Okay, so we want to focus on this window over here. So it's pretty straightforward. If you go to curtain panel grids, we're going to add curtain panel grids, but we're going to add one segment. So one there, and maybe another one there. Do you want two or do you want one? Do you want two big ones maybe?
Two big ones.
Two big ones. Okay, that's fine. So it's quite easy. Tab until you select the grid, and you can delete the grid. This grid now, we can now use this icon. You can click,
Is that how you move it?
yeah, or you can delete them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm going to use DI for this, and I'm going to go from there to there to there, and I want to make this equal because it should just move it up. You can delete the dimension. Now this is cool. You can delete the dimension. Now it's going to ask you unconstrained. If you say no and you press OK, if I tap on that grid again, there is a constrained dimension that's happening in the background already, equal. So you can remove that constraint. That just means if I move the wall, it'll keep that constraint. So it'll always be equal. Okay, but now it does sometimes cause a bit of havoc because you don't know why this thing. You've just got to delete that constraint dimension again. So if you select this, now if you select these dimensions, you can delete that dimension. Okay, you can make them again and delete them. Okay. See this guy over here. You can tab and then you can unconstrain it. There is a way to unconstrain. No, there it is. There it is. Tab. There's a way to unconstrain it. Okay. All right. Cool. Now that we've got two little panels, all that we have to do now is if we press tab, 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 and we select the curtain panel, we can delete it.
Before we go further, do you think it would be better design-wise to have a fold-up window to have a folder stacker? So, like
Actually, a fold-up window is quite neat because a folding stacking door. Actually, a folding stacking is not too bad because it'll take up sides on the reveals. So you can either, if you're using a column, you can maybe stack them into the column, and that might work.
yeah.
So that might work well. But maybe with the folding up window, you've got a neat little device that's, when it folds up, it's got like a little thing that keeps it open.
So like the reason I chose like the folder stacker was because I've got a garage door on the other side, so it kind of gave me similar.
Yeah, proportion, the way it looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we can show you how it looks folded up, and then we can make a call. Okay. So typically you'll need a mullion here as support, and then this will be open. But what we could maybe do is we could delete this bottom mullion. We could actually delete that because it's actually a window. It's like a slot that opens up and folds up. Okay. All right. So let's just go to 3D view again. I'm just going to isolate this object and work on it in isolation. Switch off so we're not using your computer's resources too hectically. Okay, now we can. So I'm going to show you there's one option. You can go and import. So let's go to insert. and we're going to load family. Let's use this option rather. We're going to load an empty curtain panel. So curtain panel, curtain wall panels is always an empty. See this empty
Oh
one?
yeah.
Load that. So what it does is it allows me. So let's grab. So this is option one. So I could select this and I can replace this with an empty,
Okay.
which was. I did load it. I definitely loaded it. Oh,
Oh,
there
there.
go empty, empty, empty. Yeah. Now, you'll notice that there is actually nothing there now. Actually, there's nothing there now. So now I could model in place, show it at an angle.
Okay.
But now remember, on elevation, when you're looking at it on elevation, you actually want to show. So let me show you how to do that. So I'm going to make a new curtain panel to fit in there. Okay, this is how you would make the door, but as a curtain panel. Okay, here it gets.
The fun part.
Here we start again. Okay, new. So here we're going to say family, and now it's a curtain, metric curtain panel. Exactly like that. Open. So this guy's always center, front, and back, and whatever we model around here, likewise, it will move. Sometimes I add another one so I can control exactly where the window starts from and works from. Maybe that's better, but I'll leave it like this for the time being because we can come and tweak it if we need to. Now, exterior. Now, what's interesting is you'll notice that these are top and bottom. These curtain panels, these extents control how this panel works. So as long we don't have to provide any dimensions provided that we work with these existing constraints. Okay. There's usually another one here that says bottom. I don't know why they haven't given you that one. That's a bit concerning. Anyway, let's just see if it works. It should work. Okay, it should, in theory. Okay, now, all that we're going to do now is we're going to create a series of extrusions and a sweep around the extrusion for your window. Okay, I don't need to put any more reference planes. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to create extrusion. And here, I'm going to work inside of this frame. So I'm going to create a rectangle. So let's just start with the frame. Lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it. Now I'm going to use offset command, and usually the frame will be, it's at the bottom here. Make it 30. I'm going to copy this. Let's put this over here. Make sure it's copy. Click offset again, and then tab. Okay, good. Now the only thing that we might have to add is if you want to control the mullion depth and width, we might have to install. Might have to put in a parameter. Okay, but so of the mullion width, just in case you need to change it in the project again. So let's just create annotate. Here we're going to create a line dimension from there, and now we select that. Select this guy, make a new one. It's going to be dimensions. That's fine. Give it a name. Call it frame. Okay, frame. That's all good. Press OK. Voila. That's frame now. Again, DI. Go. This is the only little time-consuming thing that we have to do. Okay. Good. And then one last one at the bottom. DI. Remember, always using your reference planes. Oh, there it was. There it was there. So DI. Yeah. Frame. Good. Finish. Now, you could change these parameters to frame. So it'll offset 30, and we can make that frame as well. No, it won't because it's minus. Okay, so here we can play. I can add some new parameters in frame exterior, so that's something that we can mess around with in a minute. But that's fine for now. If I go to 3D view, so in essence, I've got the beginnings of the frame. The last thing I need to do is create another extrusion. Okay, so here I'm just going to switch this off. I'm going to say none. I'll make some new parameters for this. So it ends in 30 and starts at minus 30. So it's working around the center. Okay, so 30, 30, usually to make it tie in with, it's usually about 90 by 30. It's a typical aluminium type. Yeah, that's a good tolerance to work with. Okay. If I want to, I can quickly add some dimensions here. So what I can do now is I can add this guy. So let's make this equals. And now this guy we can make this. So here I'm gonna go. Make that 90. Okay, good. Now, exterior, interior, exterior. The glass we can leave pretty standard. So, okay, now this guy. Now, make sure that you put this on a category. Panel, glass. We're going to call this panel because technically it's a panel. And then we have a glass piece that goes in here. So, create extrusion. Now, this piece, we're going to go from here. Now, if I select this guy and that guy, make sure now it works with that extrusion. So, however my frame changes, this will automatically adjust with it. And usually this is, make this 15 mil 7, and then minus 7, minus 7.5. That's okay, good. Now if we go to 3D view, we grab this extrusion. Okay, that we're going to change to glass. And let's make the material. These usually built-in parameters that we can use. So let's make this that. Click this little icon over here. Sorry, click this icon over here. Like this. Okay, so that will use glazing, and this will use frames, and let's add another. And as you can see, it's material definition, which is what you want. Frame is already frame M for material, because there's a parameter already. Because it uses equations, so you have to use. Good. Okay, so this guy, and it should start working now. Good. Good. Now, interior and exterior. What the last thing we need to do is it needs to use a symbolic line, which is going to be opening. So it's not one here, so I have to create one. Okay, anyway, so let's just draw some line work. So from there, is it his phone?
Siri. It's iPad.
Siri, find me. Annotation. Okay. Last thing we need to do, we need to add a new subcategory. I'm going to call this opening. Now, that's fine. We can change everything in the project. Press apply, press OK. Tab. Make sure that's on the right category. So that'll be opening projection. Opening projection. It just means that we can change the lines to match. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to quickly file save this. File save as family. Okay, I'm going to put this. Where do you tend to work?
On Google Drive, and then my Drive, Revit, and you can make it families.
Okay. Okay, now we can keep, so go back to that section that we made, section 9. Okay, now we can keep tabbing until I select the panel. Sometimes it will, because it's an empty panel in essence, will be a bit hard to select. So just keep tabbing in that vicinity. It will eventually. There it is there. Now I can go and find my top hung.
Do we not need to load it into it? Or is it normal?
Sure it did. Just go here. Definitely. Ah. So now you can see it's filled in that. I've just replaced that one, but it should have done the same with this one. It was loaded, it was strange.
Yeah.
Just, there we go. There you go, window topper. Good. Voila. So there, you've got your little top hung window. Ta-da.
That's perfect.
But now, if we go to your section view, what's interesting is you'll get that special line telling you that's how it operates. Okay, but now, technically, you won't have this bottom mullion. Technically, you won't have that bottom mullion. You'll actually have the wall. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, but that's fine because you're not going to have a bottom mullion. You might have, yeah, you might have to decide, do you want a bottom mullion or not?
No.
Okay, so there, we won't have a bottom mullion. That's fine. Okay, now this guy. Now what's cool is it doesn't matter how this adjusts. So let me just try and remove, there it is. See that constraint dimension. If I delete it now, voila, it's no longer constrained.
Okay.
Now this guy, I can move it. Watch it adjusts.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, so it automatically adjusts. Now, one last thing I've got to do is go to, you just have to do this once, and remember you have to use that openings projection. If you want to make more, then make sure that the opening projection line works with this. Okay, and you'll notice that it will maintain the center line. If you keep moving this to the left and right, you see it maintains its ratios. Okay,
Can you
now,
put that back in the center?
one last, I will make it here. Yeah, so let's just go to manage object styles. We just have to sort this last thing out. So your object styles are object styles. Curtain panels. Now you see I've got this openings. You just have to do this once. And every time you make a new one of these, make sure that you use that opening, same one. And then line weights. Dash 0.5 pi.
Yay.
Cool. So that's that. So that's quite easy. You can tab until you find this panel and you can make this one the same panel. Okay, now you can change this guy. So let's just move this back to the center. Here I'm going to go DI. So you can select this side. Oh, I don't know what that was. You can delete this. Delete, and you can just say unconstrained. Okay, now you've got your fancy little window.
Thank you.
Okay, now your frame width, we need to decide how the frame width is going to work. Okay, do you want it to match that, or do you want it like maybe 60?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's maybe make it, I'll explain. So let's just grab this guy, tab, 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 there we go. Here we can go to edit type and we can change this, let's maybe make it 60. Just so that, because technically,
Okay.
see what I mean? It's actually, that's slightly better. Okay, so now you've got your little window that, now the only problem now in 3D view, if you want this to open out, you'll have to hide this guy. If you want to render it, you can, if you're using another rendering package, you can automatically adjust it. So if you're using it in Twinmotion, you can then edit them because they're no longer fixed. But now, if I wanted that to be an opening window, to model that in the curtain panel system is a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, it's you can do it, but it's going to be
I
a
don't
whole
think
lot of
it's worth
maths.
it. Yeah.
But what's neat is you can create a quick model in place and have one open. and you can model in place and show it open, and then you simply hide this one in the view.
Okay.
So you hide it in this view, and then, yeah. Okay, so you can do that. All right.
Okay.
Okay, but that's how you do curtain panels, and that's, yeah. So now it's working like if I go to section, then they work. Okay,
Okay.
and you can see it looks exactly like your
Yeah.
doors. Okay, okay,
And then just could you please show me how to make a sheet without the University of Victoria border?
okay. All right. Very, very easy. Okay, now go to your sheets. Okay, now you're gonna go and edit this one. You literally go and say edit family, but now you just save as. Okay, the thing that you must keep, you can get rid of these things, keep these things as well, because what's interesting is these are labels, but you can make them work differently. All it's doing is it's connecting the dots between the Revit project file and this family.
Okay.
So these project name, all of this stuff is built into your project already. And these are all labels over here. That's a label, that's a label. These are just normal text.
Yeah.
That's normal text. If you click on it, you'll see that this is a label. Now you can go and edit these labels. You can change how big they are and how they function. Okay, so let's just move all your labels away for the time being. Let's put them there. So here you got drawn by, check by. You don't have to have them all in, and I'll explain. You can have certain. So let's move that there. The rest of the stuff in here technically means nothing. So get rid of what you want to maintain is this page size over here.
Yeah.
Okay, just because you want these two sizes, the internal size is not that important. This external size is, because this is an exact size of an A1.
Okay. Yeah.
And if this is visible in your print, it means that you're not printing to scale. That's why you must
Okay.
change it to 100%.
Yeah.
That will highlight. So I keep those in. Everything else in here you can now go and make. You can change it to suit your. You can put in your images, your logos over here. Now, let me just explain how these other things work. Delete and delete that. Okay, so now this is my sheet setup as it stands. You can go and use different colors for this. You can make arcs. You can really make this look neat, but maintain the page size every time. Okay, now these things you've got to try and use again. So let me go back into the project and I'll explain why. Oh shucks, I hope I didn't close the project. Ah, yes, project. Okay, good. View, close and active views. View, close and active views, just so we don't have too many things open. That's the sheet there. Okay, now in this project, if you go to manage and you go to project information, which is project information. Now there's a whole lot of stuff that's going to get carried through to your sheet as well. So this project number, project name, this stuff is in that view, in the sheet view. So you might want to keep the client name. You want to maybe keep the stuff in a nice, organized fashion. You can, if you're going to use what they've done there,
Yeah.
you can use an image and then remove this Bridgestone client name, etc. But you see this information here,
Yeah.
and now in this view as well, if I scroll down over here, so there's a whole lot of stuff in here that you'll see that also check by, drawn by, sheet
Okay.
number, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Now if I go into this family again, and I go back into one of these things, you'll notice that I've got access to all those information. So all that these labels are doing is they're connecting the dots. So it's taking the information from our project file, and then you setting it up in the sheet file so it represents your project information correctly on your sheet every time. Okay. So here you can see issued by, drawn by, and they're very easy to work with. So let's just take project. I'll just show you this. So here you can go to edit type. Here you can go and change how big they are, small, use the different types of fonts. You can use colors. Okay, and you can put these things anywhere.
Okay.
Okay, so project name. So let me get rid of the rest for now, because you can I'll leave them in because you can recreate them. Okay, here project name, exactly how they work. So let's get rid of this. All that you do is you go and find the appropriate project name, project status, a project name, you pull it in. That's all that you do. You can go and add more beneath. So you can create a string of text that all read, but they're all going to be that size. So just be careful.
Okay.
And you can make them wrap between parameters. If you say that and you say break, that'll become the next line.
Okay.
In essence, if you don't, it'll all read in one continuous line, so you have to say break. You can put a prefix and suffix.
Oh wow.
Okay, you can add a number of spaces. Okay, press apply, press OK. Now, this controls the wrap. If you use the wrap It just means when it's in a project, I'll try and wrap it in one line. So just be careful the way these things work. And here you can change, everything must work from maybe from bottom or top or middle or center. You're going to go right, maybe everything must work and fill up in that direction. Okay, so you need to determine how you need to use this.
Okay.
But it's pretty straightforward. You use a label. Okay, the label's connecting the dots between your project information and what you need to show on your sheet. Okay, very straightforward. Remove that. You can even add formulas. You can do a whole lot of equations if you wanted to, but yeah. Okay, so you can say project name. Now you can fill in maybe a scale drawn by, who drew the sheet, who drew it. You can maybe put that information in. So you can put your whole name and student number. You can combine it all so that every sheet, your name is always at the bottom there. So build just the basic information. Then you can put images in here and all kinds of stuff. Make the sheet look neat. Okay, here and literally, if you're creating line work, you're just literally drawing, you're using these things medium thin. You can add your own. Okay. And that again, you'll see that there's a recurring theme here. You just keep adding stuff into your title blocks, new parameters the whole time. So you're adding new subcategories, and it will always host, and then you change the way they look. Okay. Now you can make your sheet look any way you want. So I'm just going to quickly delete. I'll just put all this stuff in here. I'll call this test. I'll save this in your file. Save as family. We call this test. So let's just say, let's say Bokunda. Just call this. Okay, sheet new A1. Save. Then you just say load into project. Load into project. Okay, now you can literally. Then the sheet going forward, it will work. Here you can see sections, Bridgestone.
Okay, so when I create a new sheet, I can select this one.
You can go and edit this one and make it work for you. I'll leave it in here.
So when I
Oh yeah.
create a new
if you
sheet.
go to so let me explain that. If you go here, new sheet, it's going to ask you which one you want to use. Yeah, there we go. And now you've got a nice new going forward. Voila. I'll leave this in here so that you can go and edit it and save as, make it your own sheets, and then going forward it will help you a lot. Okay. Cool.
Okay, last thing.
Yes.
My reception counter.
Oh, yeah, just go to your. So let's close this frame maybe. Sorry, let's do this quickly. Close that. We need to go back to your project, which was this one, and we can close the sheet view. So close that as well. Okay, you've got this now. You can always go and edit it in here. You can navigate to your views.
So I just wanted to check. So I remember you showed me how to make this
in place. Good.
a assembly, I think, so that I could split it up. So when I make this as an assembly, can I draft?
Yes, you
like
can.
this?
You can. You can.
So how much detail do I need to model in?
Okay, so maybe what I'll do is model this guy. Maybe model that structure, and maybe all that structure on the countertop and these things. Everything else, and maybe that front panel that follows, that's a sweep along the front. That's all I would model. What you can do is if you want to break this thing up as this in-place family, you can actually put the worktop in its own in-place family. You can put this structure in its own in-place family and this in its own in-place family, and then make everything an assembly. Because that allows you to explode this thing. If you want to take a 3D view and you want to explode it, then you can explode it. Because if everything's in one, because it's all in one in-place family. But what you can do is you duplicate this and you blow it up, bottle it together. Then you literally put 2 or 3 in the same place and you rename them. So let me explain that. So maybe just let me show you how to do that quickly. So let me just do this. This will help you a lot. Okay, so let's just grab this guy, So this guy, if you go down to generic models, if you go to families and you go to generic models, okay, yeah, this guy. So now you'll find, let me just see what this one's name was. This was generic model, usually has a name. Reception desk, there it is there, reception desk. So here, you go and scroll down until it's found reception desk. There we go. Good. Now watch what happens when I pull another one in. I'll just say continue for me, please. Okay, watch this. If I grab another one, well, let me just say copy and paste. I go Control C, edit. So I'm going to go to paste, paste in same place. So now there's two, but now you're going to see reception disk and reception disk 1. You see this now?
Yeah.
Now you've got 2. So now you can go and say, so now you see it's made 2 copies. Now this guy, we can go and edit now and it won't affect the top one. Now you can delete the stuff that you don't need. And you can do it 3 or 4 times, and then you can quickly unpackage it. Then you combine them. So let me show you this. So this is reception disk. I can undo everything. So here, right click. Here you can go and say select instances in view. So there's the one. So let's go and say edit type. So let's just say I'm going to delete that. I'm just going to leave the top in place. Delete. I'm going to delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. No, that's fine. Delete that. Okay. Let's just say finish. Delete elements. That's fine. Okay. Now, so there were some dimensions associated to it. So finish. Remove. Yeah. Delete dimensions. Okay. Good. Now this one. This one will be reception disk 1, but now you can rename that to worktop.
Okay.
Or, yeah, so edits in place. So it just means I'm going to delete that for now. Delete that for now. Finished. Now, you've got this guy and this guy. It's two separate, okay?
Oh.
Now, but what it allows you to do, if I want to explode this view, so say now I want to explode this 3D object, but now watch this. This is where the beauty comes in. This guy and this guy now. Now I make it assembly. There we go. So let's call this, desk 1 for now. Now desk 1, we scroll right down. Now we've got our assemblies. Okay.
Honestly, I think 8 is like the most realistic.
Okay, so now we've got our desk 1. So you can go and create assembly views. Now it's going to tell you, so we want a 3D, we want a plan section. Let's just say that's all for now. Yeah, press OK. Now it's going to create all my assembly views.
Like 17 is the minimum.
Okay, there's your views. Okay, now there's the 3D view, but what's neat is you can now you can explode this.
Oh.
Because they're separate elements, I can now explode this thing and move the elements away. And I can now use, so this is tab again. So this guy, I can create the paths now. See, now it'll actually start giving me this information.
Oh, that's awesome.
And you can duplicate this view and then carry on. But what's neat is, okay, so if you go
So if you explode it in the 3D, it won't affect the other drawings, will it?
No, no. So remember, you got a top view of it. So you got an elevation top view. So you're looking at the top, looking down. These are just all the different views that it creates. So that's a section through there.
Okay.
Now, what's neat is if I press tab, I can also, that was part of it,
Yeah.
but I can now explode these objects even in this view. I can also explode objects, but save that for save that for your, but now you draft over this view. Now you draft everything. Okay. But now you can see, I can make an exploded view of this very quickly.
Perfect. Okay. So can I model the entire thing as one edit in place and then copy it
And then explode it as you need it. Yeah. So let me just undo what I did because I've recorded this. It should be fine. Okay. So then these you just drag and drop on your you just literally drag. And what's neat is if you go to plan view, if you go and add a new section in here, it understands that it's part of this. Okay. Yeah. You can see it makes the same. Go to view. And now you can see you can customize these things to suit with your work with your little. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you can just double check when you, and it even creates a sheet view. It actually creates a sheet for you where you can put the stuff on, but you can drag and drop this onto any sheet. Okay. Okay. So here you can see you can put this on the sheet view for you. So now you can put all these views on its own sheet, but you can drag and drop these on another sheet as well. Okay, here you can see you just have to maybe consider how the radiuses work. Okay, but play around with this. There's a lot of options you can do with these things. Okay.
Is this the same, like a drafting view? Is that just for
Okay, a drafting view. Let me explain what a drafting view is. If you go to annotate,
Yeah.
sorry,
Now I'm
view,
very curious.
drafting views, and let's just go and say you want to create a new drafting view. So yeah, drafting view. A drafting view is, Sana, you went to a manufacturer's website and you downloaded a whole connection detail.
Yeah.
If it's an image, you put in your drafting view and you draft over it. So it just becomes a drafted detail. There's no model elements. It's purely something that you've drafted or you got from somewhere else. Okay, that I would reserve. I don't think you guys will do a lot of that. Let me just think when you would use that. Okay, yeah,
use it
I
for
know.
small details.
Yeah, small details. And Sana, you got this information from this. You want to use this light,
Yeah.
and that comes with all the little
No, but
details,
that's
how it
actually
connects
not
to the
right, though.
ceiling.
Like,
You don't want to
if
model
you're
that,
in a
Yeah.
situation working
but you go to the
full-time
manufacturer's website
and doing
and you
proper work,
download all the
kind of
little
thing
standard
using
details
AI,
and you draft them very quickly how the
well,
whole
then
thing
you should be
works.
good.
And
Because
that
you have a
happens in
big
the drafting
view.
view.
It's not like
Okay.
your internal aspect.
All the details are the same scale, go in the same scale drafting view. Don't mix up the different scales.
Okay.
So call it details 1 to 10 and put all your 1 to 10 details or
I
make
set my
duplicates
stuff
of them.
up so
Okay.
that
A
it's
drafting
like
view
five
is
people
literally
already
like a
looking.
piece of paper where you're doing a little hand sketch and you're putting it on your sheet. Okay,
There's a
you
lot
don't
of-
have to worry about the
when
border.
we
You can never
more
crop it. So whatever you draw just work neat.
So
You can't crop the drafting view.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you see in the drafting view will be on that sheet.
I mean,
Sometimes
my
people
mom's
do
is
stuff
just
here and then they
everything.
wonder why the print looks terrible.
Okay.
Drafting view is very specific.
you-
Work on that detail, then you put that detail on the sheet. Or you can put a series of details from the same object but making sure that they're all to the same scale.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool.
Thank you, Jason.
My pleasure. Okay, so that's worked well. I'll leave this. You can undo what I've done. But I think that's,
Can you delete the assembly?
yeah, let's do that. All that you do is you just go to the 3D view.
For me, that's a long
This
drive,
assembly, you can
but-
just say disassemble, and I'll ask you delete all elements. Okay, let me just undo. I just don't want to have a duplicate. I just want one of these, not two. Okay, so let's just go to.
You're such a cut singer, then,
If
like
you
that.
go over
Like,
here,
you
you
guys
can also
drive
delete it. Yeah,
45
deletes.
minutes a day.
It also gets rid of it. So
Like, a day.
there we go.
One way.
I know it's
With,
still
like,
assembly. Ugh,
be
don't
enough
do that.
that.
Disassemble. There we go. Delete. Good. Okay, there's two separate families. So if you want to undo, so here you can go to
I really could, like the shop is like probably like it's like
families,
just down
create
the road.
assembly, family, edit family, delete selected.
Paste.
Yeah, and let's go
But it
back to
depends which
move.
part of
There
the
we go. Good.
Which
Now
part
that's
do you
just one family. Let me just make sure
Delete.
delete. Yeah. Good.
I'm schlong.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right, so you're on the right track. Remember, you can join this material. So just everything that joins together, you can then break them up, make them assembly, and then you can use that exploded view if it's if it's part of your feature.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
Don't do that for other stuff. And remember, this will be a generic model, whereas the other ones will be furniture items if they're not.
I think
This is something that you might have to
Margot's
cut
the
through in
exact same
detail.
thing with an
Yeah, it
Afrikaans
needs to be
name.
built in
I was
place. Yeah.
like,
Okay.
no places in Durban with an
Thanks, Jason.
Afrikaans.
My pleasure. You can stop sharing for me.